Hey there, I'm Shauna, your counseling astrologer. So I was looking through old journals from the last couple of years. I was looking for something in particular, but I came over this this entry. It's kind of like a list. It's entitled "How to Become Mars," and I wanted to share this with you. So I wrote this down, kind of like this brainstorm of how to embody Mars energy, because I was going through a Mars transit and I was having some challenging Mars type situations, and I wanted to really I wanted to get in there and to allow Mars to express in a way where it felt like I was embodying that energy versus that energy coming at me in a more challenging way. And so I talked about this a little bit in my previous video that I just made, and I wanted to, I was like, oh, this is good. This is a good reminder. And it was so perfect that I came across this now because this week we have a Sun-Mars aspect that's a little challenging. And then we're also moving toward a Mars retrograde, which also I think it's really important to get more comfortable with what Mars is as a symbol and how we can become more friendly toward it and understand how to use the symbols of Mars. All right, so how to become Mars from me, from me to me. Number one, first thing is to actively engage in confrontation or conflict. To do this, this active engagement and confrontation and conflict from an embodied and emotionally intelligent state. So this is basically saying that confrontation and conflict is not inherently bad, that it's actually good. And this was number one on the list because that is outside my comfort zone usually. Of course, I've gotten better over the years, but I tend to not enjoy meeting confrontation and conflict. But that's very Mars. Mars is all about meeting the confrontation, the conflict, and enjoying it. And so this first one is really about doing so from a state of response and emotional embodiment, and basically doing it with awareness. The second thing here is to voice your opinions, disagreements, and your arguments, to be vocal and to allow yourself to disagree with someone or something. Next is to get comfortable with argumentation. To get comfortable with argumentation and to know that disagreements do not have to result in a fractured relationship. And this is a big deal for me because in my early years, that was kind of an unconscious programming that I had, that was, if there was a disagreement, that meant something bad was going to happen, and that could jeopardize the relationship and even permanently break the relationship. And so this Mars energy is about getting comfortable with disagreement and getting comfortable with argumentation. One thing that sort of changed this for me was I actually took a class in undergrad. It was a communications class, and it was specifically oriented around the art of argumentation. And it was really beautiful because it sort of like, for me, reframed argumentation as an art and as a strategy that's very different than a fight, what we typically think of as an argument. Argumentation is voicing your opinions in a way that is clear and that you can actually like back that up with data or information, that you're like making a case, and that doing that does not mean that necessarily that someone's feelings are going to get hurt, that you're bad or wrong, or that it will destroy the relationship. In fact, argumentation can actually strengthen bonds as well. So again, this is all Mars energy, the argumentation, the disagreement, and then the fear of that fractured relationship. So to get more comfortable with disagreement is the message there. The next thing is to physically move your body via exercise, dance, play, shake, or roll around. So like any kind of physical activity is totally Mars as well. So this is another great way to physically embody the energy of Mars and to allow Mars to have a healthy outlet and expression for you. The next one is to advocate for yourself and others. Especially advocating for yourself if you tend to advocate more for others. So I think this is an important thing because Mars is really about advocating and fighting for someone or something. And so especially this week when we have Sun Mars and then when we have the Mars retrograde, it's going to be really important to look at the ways in which you advocate for yourself. I think that people that are into spirituality or self-reflection, it can be easier to advocate for other people because there's kind of like a selflessness in that. And it can be more difficult to advocate for yourself, to know that you're important and you're worth it and your values, needs, and desires are worthy of expression. That doesn't mean that you necessarily need to like steamroll your way over things. There's a difference between that and just saying, hey, this is what's important to me. That's very Mars. Next is to express and allow feelings of frustration, anger, agitation, annoyance, and pain. So to express and allow those feelings. This can be even just acknowledging to yourself that you feel frustrated, to write this down, to have a writing space, a journal for yourself to express that, or to express it to someone else instead of saying it's fine, to actually say like, yeah, this bothers me. I think that there can be a lot of power in naming what it is that you actually feel, claiming your authenticity. Next is saying no firmly, confidently, and wholeheartedly. So this one is so good because I think sometimes when there's a challenge with saying no, we can sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes this is what I do is I feel an internal no, but then I will say yes. And then it gets to the point where I need to say no, and then it becomes kind of like an aggressive no. And so I've gotten a lot better about that, but it's still something that, you know, I work on. And so that's why here I said say no firmly, confidently, and wholeheartedly is to, this is really about like checking in on where your no is and expressing that confidently. Without hesitation and without like feeling guilty. I mean, I think you can't control how you feel necessarily if there's guilt there, but knowing that that shouldn't stop you from saying no if your internal compass is saying, no, this is not appropriate for me right now. And then the last thing is to learn how to be in conflict and learn how to resolve conflict in healthy and non-harming ways. So this is like really bringing it into the full circle where maybe there is a conflict, and to get comfortable with like, okay, how do we resolve conflict? And how do we do that in ways that are healthy and have open communication and have a sense again of that like authenticity and integrity, where you're still claiming space, but you're being open and receptive to the other person as well. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you got something out of this. I would love to hear from you if there are other things that you want to add to this list of how to embody Mars, how to become Mars. I am wishing you a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye.